Hi there, I'm Jenny Muncaster, artist, educator and presenter, and welcome to the studio. And I work mainly in acrylics and mixed media, and the sort of work that I do are all sorts of paintings, from large scale paintings for hotels and cruise ships to smaller bespoke work for galleries and to commission. And one of the most unusual commissions that I've been working on over the years are the 30 hand-painted art bollards in Winchester. And if you've never seen them, get yourself down to Winchester and have a look, because they're really amazing. They're in the square and they're wonderful. So what am I doing today? Well, in fact, no, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Colour Factory, because you've got to come to Winchester, yes, to visit those art bollards, but to see us at the Colour Factory studios, and that's where I work. It is the most amazing hub of creativity. 7 artists here working all in different media, from oil painting to watercolours to printing. We've got a silversmith, a jeweller and a metal worker, and we love sharing all of our skills in our workshops and classes that we hold here in our workshop space in the garden. It's really, really beautiful, so come and visit us, sign up for a class, and I think we've got the details on the screen as well. So yeah, do come along to Winchester, don't miss the art bollards as well, and pop in and say hello. It'd be lovely to see you. So what am I doing today? Well, I'm doing a really lovely demo, which is very, very easy to do. And it's all about taking a photo, so personalising a piece of artwork with a family photo, or it could be friends, or it could be your pet, it could be absolutely anything you like, and incorporating it into a mixed media piece of artwork. A little bit like, it's the piece that I'm doing is the piece that we're showing above on the camera there. So taking some images, and I'm going to show you how to incorporate those with some lovely texture and some painting with acrylics as well. So we are live, aren't we, Tom? So we've got lovely Tom behind the camera. He's the good-looking one. You can't see him, but we're going to answer some questions. Well, hopefully we're going to answer your questions along the way. And so do pop your comments in below, and we'll have a go answering those as we go along. And do stay to the end, because we've got information about the Hobbycraft Artist of the Year 2020 competition, which is very exciting. So yeah, I'm going to put that to one side because that's the end of the project. So I'm going to show you step by step how we go about creating that. And I'm working on some acrylic paper, something like that. It's some A4 acrylic paper. So it's ideal for acrylic paint. It's got a lovely linen texture to it. I'm just going to pop that to one side. Now I'm going to be working a little bit a la Blue Peter style. So we're going to be doing step by step, but I have done some of the steps to kind of speed it up a little bit. So I've got here a family photo and a few bits and pieces from my collage collection. I collect ephemera, so paper ephemera from all sorts of things, and I've got a little scrap bag, and it's a really useful thing to have to kind of use in your mixed media work and journaling and all sorts of things. So I've chosen a few images for my own personalised piece of artwork, and I think they go quite well. So I would just play around with the pieces, see where they're going to go. I'm going to save that little butterfly for later. And what I've done, I've got my paper.
So, sorry Jenny, we're having a couple of issues with our overhead camera, so if you can keep going, but I'm just going to sort that out.
Okay, we'll keep going from here. So my paper is taped down onto, oh, you're going to see Tom? Oh, we're not going to see Tom, I thought you were going to see him then. So my paper's taped down onto a bit of card, and I find that really useful when I'm working, especially if I'm using lots of paint and water and texture, and it just keeps it nice and kind of flat for my working. It also gives you a little bit of a reveal when you pull the tape away. So this is what I will have done earlier. So I'm going to put that to one side, because what I need to do is paste that down. Look, this is real Blue Peter stuff, isn't it? So I've pasted my collage pieces down with a decoupage medium, and this is from Daler Rowney. It's really, really handy for all sorts of collage work, really effective. So I've put some on the back and a little bit on the front as well, and that just seals my collage paper in. And we're ready with our first layer of texture, as it were. Are we all right overhead now?
It's still having some problems, so I've just tilted this downwards so that we can see a little bit better with this one, but should be back in a minute.
Okie dokie, right, okay, so let's take my first layer of effect. So the idea of this piece is to, what I call kind of homogenise, is to pull everything together with colour and texture and a little bit of painting and adding your own little twist to this. So, you know, they could be any images that you like, but we want to kind of pull it together to create a finished piece of artwork. And this is a technique that I use in my big paintings as well as my little sort of scrapbooky journaling pieces as well. And I love this. So I'm going to take a stencil, it could be any stencil, that's a plastic acetate stencil, and my texture paste. So let's put a bit of this texture paste onto my plate. Ooh, like that. Let's squeeze some out. Love this stuff. Gives a beautiful kind of 3D effect. And of course, yeah, any stencil, any pattern you like. I'm going for this bubbly one because it reminds me of the bubbles in that lemonade. So I'm kind of creating a little bit of a story here. Okay, so let's take the stencil. That's nice and dry and flat. I'm going to lay my stencil down and just hold it there with my fingers. I've got a palette knife here, really, really handy for doing this kind of work. And take my paste and simply start. So I'm starting at the top corner, laying my paste through the stencil. Now, what I'm trying to avoid is going over my collage pieces too much. So nice and gentle, like that. Don't worry if you get a little bit on your paper collage because it's water-based, the textured paste, so you can wipe it off. There we go, that's my first section done, nice and smooth. Wait for the reveal. Oh, it's a bit like icing a cake. I was about to say icing the Christmas cake, but I really don't want to bring Christmas up right now. It's too early. And pull away and we get a lovely pattern through like that. Now you're going to keep working this. And I'm going to take my stencil on my next bit and carry on, avoiding my little photo there, but just going over the background. There we go. Don't worry too much about being too neat and tidy. Look, it's just going around the outside there. And let's carry on with that. Ooh. So you don't really need to wash out your stencil until the end. You can keep going and go. I'm going to speed up a bit. Okay, take a bit more. Whoop, like that. And down the bottom, keep going. I'm going to even do a little bit at the top like that and on the side. So I haven't gone over my my pictures at all. Now that paste can go back in my pot. I'm going to do that in a minute. Keep that there for later. My stencil can wash out with water, so we can use that again and again. I've got a bucket down there that washes out. Now, if you have got any of your paste in an area that you don't want it, look, it's going over my picture. Now, if you like that, that's fine, but I'm going to take a little bit of water. Let's have a little bit of kitchen roll as well. And while it's still wet, I'm just going to zhuzh that away like that. So you have to be quite quick with this because it does dry. And especially if we're in the garden studio and it's quite warm actually. So just take that off with my brush. So if you get any in a bit where you don't want it, just whoosh it away with your brush and a little bit of water. So you can spend a bit more time on that, but you can see how you can pull away any paste where you don't want it. So you could tidy it up a little bit like that. There we go. Oh, I've got a bit on there. So brush it away with your paintbrush and a little bit of water like that, and then we're going to need that to dry. So a la Blue Peter again, let's put that to one side. Look, I've even numbered them. Look at me, so organised. There we go. So that is the next stage. So my paste is lovely and dry like that. I can feel it. Got a bit of texture and that pattern coming through. Really lovely. So the next stage of the artwork, because I want to get a bit of colour on there. So I've got some acrylics. These are System 3 acrylics by Daler Rowney. Really, really lovely. In fact, I'm going to show you this set. Look at that. I flipping well love that. little handle. In fact, I'm using virtually, well, 4 or 5 of the colours out of that set. Really, really lovely. We got that, we're showing that, aren't we? Have I got it the right way, Tom? Yeah, I love that little set. So acrylics, brilliant. Let's get some colour on. I'm going to put a bit of everything on here, a bit of yellow. I've got some turquoise going on, a little bit of ultramarine. Am I in the camera there? Some white. I
think we're doing okay. We're having some connectivity issues in here, but we're going to keep going. And if you have any questions, please just pop them in the comments. Also, after the show, it will go up on Facebook in full quality. So just bear with us.
Okay, so I'm going to mix up my first colour, and I'm going to pick out some of the colours that are in this little lemonade label here. So I'm going for that yellow. I'm going to warm it up with a little bit of the red. So I've got some yellow, some white, and I think that's about there. There we go. And I just want to put my first layer on. So with my little square brush, like that, using acrylic brushes, get some colour on as your first layer. Now, you could choose any colour palette you want to and decide where you want your colours to go. I'm just going to have it whooshing around. I just want a yellow background to start off with, so let's just get this on. You can be quite robust. You can really go and put a little bit of welly into when you're brushing over your paste, because you want to get it right in all the little nooks and crannies. There we go. Let's get it on like that, going around. So I'm choosing colours that are kind of going with that label, that lemonade-y look. Over we go like that. And I'm even going around the photo as well. So this is where I'm trying to unify my collage with my texture and colour and bring it all together. Just the first layer of bringing it together. So you think about your composition, your colour, add a little bit of texture, and sort of adding your own little spin on this, because this is all about you, your family, your friends, and making something a little bit special and a little bit unique. And you know, we've all had a bit of a funny time, haven't we? And it's just nice to sort of connect again with our family and friends. And what better way to do it than through art, I think. Right, okay, first layer down. I am going to give that a really quick dry with my hairdryer just to speed things along. Wash my brush out as well. Grab my hairdryer. Let's give that a little quick blast. My first layer. Okay, now I'm going to mix up my second colour, and I'm going to go for that lovely blue on the label there, and a bit of that turquoise again, and it's got a little bit of ultramarine in it, I think, so let's put a bit of that in, a bit of white. Oh, that was quite light, wasn't it? Let's do a bit more. Getting there. Just doing this really, really quickly so you can get an idea of how you can start to incorporate your images into your paintings. Are we there? Nearly. It doesn't have to be exact, does it? Okay.
We've got a couple of comments.
Yeah.
So we have Philomena saying hi, Sarah saying hi from Derbyshire, Carol saying hi from Bolton.
Oh, hello everybody.
Emma is saying hi Jenny, and Vicky, our artisan, Vicky is saying hi Jenny, love the texture paste, attended a couple of your workshops and they were fab.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Right. Oh, have I just nudged me? Yeah. Okay, so next I'm going in for a bit more colour. So I'm picking up on that blue that's on the label, and I'm just going to decide sort of where I'm going to put that. Again, it's all about incorporating those collage images into a final piece of artwork and kind of making it your own. So let's bring that down there a little bit. I might have a little bit of this coming in the corner as well. Again, I'm kind of really digging into that texture, because I'm going to make the most of that texture in a minute, but I want the paint to go sort of in all those little nooks and crannies, and I'm going to bring it, that little bit line round there, I'm going to bring it across to my butterfly. And should we go over here as well? Yeah, let's go over there. Let's have a little bit coming round here. Now you can spend a bit more time on this, just doing this quite quickly, because there's quite a few stages to this, and this is just the kind of groundwork really. Okay, I think that's about right. Do you know, I'm looking at these sunbursts and I want to kind of extend them outwards, and here's a little trick with some masking tape. And again, I always have a bit of masking tape in the studio. This is some low tack tape, so it's not quite so sticky, but if you've got ordinary masking tape, you can just stick it to your jumper or your jeans and pull it away, and it will actually make it less sticky because it will pick up a little bit of the fluff on your clothes, a little bit of the lint or fabric. So there we go. Look, I'm using my masking tape to create a very quick line to extend those little kind of sunburst effect. Let's keep going. I'll just do this very, very quickly. And whatever images you choose, it's all about looking at the image and finding a way of kind of making it your own and adding more character with a bit of colour and paint, and kind of turning it into your own original mixed media piece of artwork. Let's keep going. Oh, turn the tape around. Quick, quick, quick. Ooh, like that with my brush. And again, I'm determined to get this bit done. Oh, I hope we're all right. I hope you can see everything okay. So just continuing that round like that. And the next colour, I'm going to add another colour to this as well. So you can see there, I've put my blue down. You know, if you get a little bit of paint on before it dries, just lift it off with a little bit of water and a brush. There we go. But don't worry, because I'm going to paint in that lemon a little bit more later on. Okay, let's go for a different colour now. Again, give your paint a little bit of a dry before the next layer goes on. At the moment, I don't want my colours to mix. I shouldn't have the hairdryer on while I'm talking, should I? But I need to be quick. I need to get this layer done. Right, dry that. That will give me time to mix my next colour up, which is, I'm going to go for that sort of lemony orange. There we go. Let's get a little bit of that cadmium red and yellow. There we go. Oh, I'll use a bit of that colour as well. Something like that. So, oh, I'm going for zesty. I'm going for the zesty colours. Do you know, I love a flat brush. Really, really lovely with this. Get it right in. Okay, so let's think about a bit of orange. I'm going to put this around here now. So let's build up that colour and start bringing it together a little bit. Let's have a bit coming round here like that. And I'm going to go all the way around the outside, I think. So it's a little bit, it's very painterly, this. It's got a lot of character. I'm not being too neat and tidy, but I want to find a way of unifying, and I use that word a lot, bringing everything together to kind of make it my own. Okay, let's go over there like that. And I'm thinking, yes, do the same thing with a new bit of masking tape. I'm going to paint the little sunburst sort of yellowy orange strips in as well, just using the edge of the flat brush, and I'm using my little finger as a rest, and that's really useful because I can get a lot more control with my brush while I'm going across. And I think this would be quite difficult to do if I didn't have the tape. And pull away, and we've got a nice little line. So we'll keep going with that and following through all the way around. Oh, I've got one that I did earlier. I hate to say this, but here we go. This is the next stage. So we've got another one here. So you can see, I'm going to show you what I've done. I've got the orange little sunburst going around, and I've got the blue going around like that. So that's my kind of base colour really. So the next thing to do, right, let's take a clean plate. We're going to make the most of this texture now, and I've got a little bit of sponge here, and it's a bit of cellulose sponge, and I'm going to rub over my texture paste. I'm going to use the white. I want that lemonade, those lemonade bubbles to really come through. So tiny little bit of paint, not too much at all, really hardly any. In fact, take a little bit off. If you're worried, put it on and take it off again, and we'll see how that works. So you can hardly see I've got any on there. Holding my board, I'm just going to very gently, should we start up here, rub over the top of my texture. This is worth all the effort, isn't it? I love this bit, and it's almost like a little bit of magic, and you can see where the white paint is just sitting on the topmost surface of that bubbly texture. So don't press too hard, just nice and gentle, build it up. Do you know, it's almost like cleaning the surface of a table or something like that. Just gently rub. What you don't want to do is press hard with the sponge, otherwise you won't get the contrast of the background and that textured paste with the white on. And again, let's do this bit. Ooh, I love this. This is so satisfying. Whoop. I rubbed a bit too hard there. I was getting a bit excited. I'm going to calm down. There we go. Oh, I love that.
We do have a quick question.
Sorry, I talk too much, don't I?
So we have a question from Lynn, who says, "Love the texture paste bit. As I came on a little bit late, can you tell me what it is that you're using?"
Yeah, so this is texture paste, and it's a 3D, beautiful medium. So there we go. Can we see it?
Yep.
There, lovely, lovely. And again, I use this in my work a lot, and there's loads of different ways to use this. You can use it straight out the tube with a brush or a palette knife. You can mix it with your acrylic paint to create coloured texture. But I love to use it in this way, kind of creating texture in a little bit of an unusual way. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Was that Lynn, did you say?
That was Lynn, yes.
Hello, Lynn. Okay, so we're starting to build up our artwork now. And then what I would do, seeing as I've got most of the pattern and colour on, I would then go in, let's take a smaller brush, and I would go in and I would just start to touch up and touch in some of the bubbles with a bit more colour on them here and there, just taking my little brush. And this is almost like, do you know what, I need a cup of tea or a glass of wine, Tom, just so we can sit back and kind of relax into the painting and just decide where we want our kind of like colours to pop out. So a few more little bubbles, let's just go in there. And do you know what, I would paint the lemon as well. I would go in and I would add my own little character by painting that lemon as well. I'm just going to do this really, really quickly. So I would add my own layer of acrylic to the lemon, and I would go in and I'd add a little bit on top of the lettering as well with I'd use a smaller brush actually, but bringing my own painting style into this and almost using the collage as a kind of template to work with, really. Okay, so the next thing I would do is give my little lemonade bubbles a little bit more kind of pop, and I'm taking some of my turquoise like that, a little bit of water and a small brush, and I'm going to go in and just put a little bit of dark around some of these bubbles like that. Okay, so going around, and then don't worry too much, it looks a bit rough at the moment. We're going to take another brush. Ooh, where's my other pointy brush? And just while it's wet, it's just gently, can you see that? I'm just using a little bit like watercolour now, so just gently creating these little 3D bubbles, and while the paint is still wet, so you want to do it, work wet in wet there. There we go. So creating these little 3D bubbles, with a little bit of that turquoise, spending a little bit of time now just gently with 2 brushes, creating a little bit of shadow and highlight. And you can do as much or as little as you want to. Do you know what? I would even go in and add a little bit of painting and a little bit of shadow around there as well. Take my wet brush and blend it through a little bit. So that's using 1 brush with paint, 1 brush with water, and just doing a little blend through. Really lovely. So building up our artwork like that. And I'd even take a little bit of that blue around the butterfly. I want to start making some of my collage elements pop, what I call pop out. So really jump out a little bit more by adding a little bit of shadow. I'm talking too much again, Tom, aren't I? Have we got any more of our lovely people?
So Sarah's saying, looking great so far, can't wait to see the finished product. And Chris is saying, going to look great, the suspense is killing me.
Ooh.
Thanks for your comments.
Oh, you're making me feel nervous, you lot now. Okay, so just putting shadow, we can even put a bit more white, putting some little highlights on the bubbles like this. And very, very quickly our picture starts to build up and give it a little bit more oomph. Do you know what? I'm even going to paint these little dungarees. Oh, so this is the lovely thing about I'm using a photocopy or a print from my computer, from my scanner. So I want to have the image of the photo sort of coming through. So I'm just going to do a little wash over there. And I just love this idea of adding your own sort of wacky take, a little bit of character to our images and photos. Look, oh, blue dungarees. Well, they could be any colour, couldn't they? I'm just adding a little bit of that blue. I would work into that a little bit more with a little bit of highlight here and there. Oh, I'm doing this very quickly. And I'm going to show you one actually that I've worked on a little bit more, and I want to explain the sorts of areas that then you might add to. Look, I can't help myself. And then I want to go in and add the stripes, maybe a little bit on the butterfly as well. So we're adding more colour. So I'm going to move on to the next stage, because I, probably spend a good 10 more minutes on that and really get it to this next stage, which is, here we go, which is the final stage. So you can see that I've put more of that lovely turquoise around the bubbles. I've added a little bit of white onto the butterfly, a little bit more turquoise in what we call a glaze or a wash onto our lemon as well. So anywhere you want to, just using this idea of using a glaze of colour with water and acrylic, and then kind of getting a little bit bit characterful with it as well. And I love the idea of, I put a few spots on her little scarf there. And finishing touches, look, I've left this here to remind myself, I've got another little butterfly, and I might collage that on there. And look, in my pocket, I've got a little liner. I just found that in my pocket. And what I would do is I would just then put a little bit of line work on just here and there, just a little bit, just to bring some of those collage elements out a little bit more. You don't have to do this. I quite like that little sort of almost illustrative look. And again, it gives your images a little bit of punch, a little bit of character. You could even go around some of your stencilled paste, texture paste areas as well. And that was a little bit, it's actually, what's good about this, it's water-based, so you can give it a little brush through. I want to do a little bit on here as well. Look, I can't help myself. Let's go along here as well. So just the odd little line here and there really makes my little photo pop out a little bit more. So just, a little bit of sunglasses as well. Oh, I'm going a bit wobbly. So I just love the idea, a little bit of line work just to finish off as well, as much or as little as you want to. And in fact, I'm going to show you, what I'm going to do is I've got a little mount here. Have I found my mount? I've got everything round the back here. No, I've lost my mount. I know where it is. It's this side. Down here, I've got a little mount here. And I think it makes such a difference when you've finished, is to get that in a frame or put a mount on it. How lovely is that? I just think that's such a cool way of personalising an image, and even better if you can put it in a frame like this. It really is a lovely thing, a present. If you can bear to give it away as a present, I think I'd want to keep mine, put it up in the house somewhere. And in fact, I'm just going to show you another piece of artwork that I did earlier, because I just want to show you how different images and photos can look using a different stencil, a different colour palette, but basically using the same process. And I found this photo of my grandmother, and it was hidden behind another photo, and I only discovered it the other day. So here we go. This is another image. Can we see that okay? Yep. And again, exactly the same process. We've got a different pattern stencil, different colours. I've painted my granny's little hat in there. She loved the garden, and I think that's a really lovely memory and a keepsake for me. So why not give it a go? Okay, so there we go. There's my demo, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I know I said I was going to mention about the Hobbycraft Artist of the Year competition 2020, and I am very proud to have been selected as one of the judges for this year. And there are 3 categories. And there are amazing prizes to be won in each of the categories. And we're starting to see some of your beautiful artwork coming through that you've created. I think there's some on the screen right now. And just to remind you that the entries close on the 30th of September. And there's a link on the screen to find out more information. But do send those entries in. I can't wait to see them. And so next week, next Thursday, we have another live demo coming from one of Hobbycraft's many artisans. And next week on Thursday, it is Bethany Salt from the Chesterfield store, and she's doing a pencil drawing demo. So do come back and see that next Thursday. And I think there's more information about the art sale on the website as well, and I think that's on the screen as well. So it's great. It's been a lovely evening. I think we could go and have a little glass of wine now, couldn't we, Tom? I hope you've been having a glass of wine while you've been watching and enjoying that. And do keep in touch. And if you want to learn more about the classes and workshops that we have at the Colour Factory, I'd love you to message me. And we hope to see you soon.